TransDataNexus is an AI-native intelligence platform for the U.S. pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. It connects the entire American drug landscape: patents, spending, factories, prescribers, and insurance coverage. From more than 90 authorized sources onto a single graph you can question in plain English. What used to take 3 vendors and 6 weeks is now one question, answered in seconds, with every number traced back to its authorized source. So let's not just say it, let's watch it. This is a real question, asked in plain English, exactly as a strategist would type it. The system plans its own approach, writes the query, runs it across a governed warehouse, and checks its own answer. Then hands back a clear verdict with the exact code and the authorized sources behind every number. What you're watching unfold in seconds would take a team of analysts weeks. Here's why that's hard today. Your patent intelligence comes from Clarivate, your pipeline from Sightline, your forecasts from Evaluate, your claims and prescriber data from IQVIA, your competitive and loss of exclusivity analysis from IPD Analytics, your formulary data from MMIT, your providers from Definitive, your inspections from Redica, your shipments from Panjiva. 9 subscriptions, 9 logins, and not one of them shares an ID with another. So a mid-market team pays $500,000 to over $1 million a year and still ends up cross-referencing spreadsheets by hand. The industry's best answer so far was a $5 billion roll-up that is still stitching its own brands together. Everyone sells the pieces. We built the graph that joins them, and you just ask it questions. So first, look at what one connected platform holds. It starts with the money. More than $3 trillion of drug spending and market flows, tracked prescription by prescription, including $1.8 trillion moving through U.S. government programs alone. Behind every one of those dollars sits the regulatory record: 29,000 FDA drug approvals, reaching all the way back to 1939, together with every patent, recall, and shortage that followed. Follow the medicine upstream, and you reach the factories, 9,000 of them worldwide, from finished pill plants to the raw ingredient sites, each one scored against its full FDA inspection and warning letter history. But we don't stop at the factory gate. We trace the goods in motion across roughly 500,000 import and export shipments, so you can see which supplier actually ships which ingredient between India and the United States. Downstream lies the demand: 9.5 million prescribers and 412 million records of exactly what America's doctors prescribe and for whom. And every place that care is delivered is on the map too. 13,500 hospitals, 110,000 pharmacies, and 1.7 million individual clinician profiles, each ready with its own pre-call brief. Wrapping all of it is the gatekeeper of the money: 176 million insurance coverage decisions across 11,500 health plans, down to whether a single drug is covered or restricted in a single county. And here's what ties it together. Every one of those numbers is drawn from 1,100 authorized files, 93 datasets across a dozen agencies, roughly 1 billion records, woven into 15 billion connected data points, each one traceable back to its authorized source. Because records alone aren't intelligence. The real value is in the joins. We connect that billion records onto one spine, so a molecule, the company that owns it, the factory that makes it, the doctor who prescribes it, and the plan that covers it all carry the same identity everywhere. And the whole platform runs on AI, reasoning across every one of those connections, finding links a team of analysts would take weeks to see. That's how our model named 28 of the 34 drugs Medicare chose to negotiate, before Medicare ever announced them. Here's what the graph unlocks. One drug, apixaban, sold as Eliquis, the biggest blood thinner in America, $21 billion a year in government spend. Every legal brief quotes 2031 as the year its protection ends. Watch the real wall light up instead. November 2026, 5 years sooner, because we read the actual drug substance patent, not the padded date. 3 generic versions are already sitting fully FDA approved, held back only by a private settlement that runs to 2028, still years before the date everyone quotes. Then the price cut Medicare already locked in flashes up, minus 56%, around $10 billion, effective before any generic ships. So the $21 billion prize is smaller and closer than any published forecast says. One more click walks its 50 ingredient suppliers down to a single named factory and its live FDA status. The fact that actually decides whether the cheapest way in is even buildable. 6 questions that live in 6 subscriptions everywhere else. Here, 1 drug, 1 screen, every number agreeing. That single eloquent view pulled from half a dozen different places at once, and here they all are. TransDataNexus is one platform, organized into 7 connected workspaces: generic and biosimilar entry, supply chain and sourcing risk, competitive intelligence, market access and pricing, disease and market landscape, hospitals and accounts, and regulatory and policy. Beneath them sit more than 30 focused lenses, and every single one reads from the same graph. And the whole platform runs on AI, from the ground up. The intelligence lives inside every data point. So what reaches you on any of these screens is already the answer. Let's move through them the way an analyst actually would. Start where we began. The launch board, 2,100 cliff molecules, ranked on price, real opening date, competition, and whether the ingredient can even be sourced. Click any one, and because the intelligence lives inside the data itself, the verdict is already there. Door opens 2026. Sourceable. Easy to win. You're reading a decision. Every one of those calls rests on the regulatory record, a workspace of its own. The real patent walls, drug by drug. The Medicare negotiation exposure. Every approval, recall, shortage, inspection, and warning letter since 1939. The entire compliance history of the industry on one clock. Then the supply side. Who actually makes each drug and how exposed that supply is. 9,000 plants on a live map, colored by FDA status. Every molecule scored single source or safe. And the real custom shipments underneath, traced from an Indian exporter all the way to the US plant that receives it. And every link is reasoned over the moment you open it. So the platform shows you where the chain breaks and why, before you have to ask. Turn it on any competitor. Their entire government-paid book, how much faces a cliff, who's taking their share market by market, and every dollar they spent promoting it, traced to the doctor who received it. Same graph, so their numbers can never disagree with yours. Market access is where deals live or die. Which plans cover a drug? Which gate it behind prior authorization? What's eroding the price? And how the money splits between fee-for-service and managed care, state by state. And the exposure is surfaced for you before you ever walk into the room. Or start from a disease instead of a drug. Every U.S. county scored for unmet need, where high disease burden collides with no coverage and no specialist. This is Dimmitt County, Texas, the highest need diabetes county in America, and the reason a payer rebate there would change nothing. And the account layer beneath all of it. Every hospital, physician, health system, pharmacy, and research site in the country on one map, each with a pre-call brief on its volume, its finances, and its patient mix. And here's what makes it feel different. The entire platform runs on AI from the ground up. Every number you've just seen has already been read, cross-checked, and reasoned over before it reached the screen. The intelligence lives inside the data itself. So the platform hands you the judgment already made. The connection a team of analysts would take weeks to find, surfaced in seconds, in plain language. You don't operate it. You ask it, and the answer is simply there. That's the whole platform. Not 7 tools, 1 graph, 7 ways in, and an AI that reads across all of it. The market has already priced the pieces. $1 billion here, $2 billion there. But nobody has priced the thing that joins them. It's built, it's live, and it's looking for its first partners. Everyone sells the pieces. We built the graph and taught it to answer. Thank you for walking through it with us. This is TransDataNexus. For a deeper look and a live demo, reach us at transdatanexus@gmail.com or call +91 959 50 7878.